Hey, everybody, how's it going? This is Rob Turley with Down the Rabbit Hole podcast. I hope everybody's had a great new year, and I'm pretty excited right now because I've got someone very special who has done a lot of different things with me, actually. Believe it or not, it's kind of interesting, but we can thank the program that we're in together. But this is Susy Rosado, and she is a spectacular human being. She has experience in acting, in producing, and she has experience with anything pretty much around a camera. So I think this could be pretty exciting and a good lesson to learn for a lot of the people listening today. So Susy, please.
Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for having me in your program. It's an honor. I love it. We're going to talk about, I launched a webinar in Northern America about how to talk to the camera because in this new reality, it's very important that you create connection. And sometimes that connection is not because you don't want to, it's because you don't know how to. And it's just a matter about like the shift in the paradigm that we have. Like we have to look at people in the eye, but sometimes people look at the eye on the screen, not in the person. So I'm going to explain you a little bit about that. In regards, I don't know, what else do you want to know?
Sure. So I think this would be very exciting because people of all walks of life, all the way from, I guess, online video dating to sales people to executives could learn a lot from this. For example, right now, I'm looking at you in the eye. I'm looking the camera in the eye. I'm looking at whoever's watching the video version of this in the eye right now because I'm actually looking at the camera. I'm not looking at the screen. Susy's actually above me right now. So that's what's important. But before we delve into that, I want to know a little bit about your past, Susy. What have you done? What are some of your accomplishments, and how did you get to where you are right now?
Okay, now you like I know that you have experience on this. So I am from Mexico. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. I studied economics. My whole life, I always loved entertainment, with being in theater, singing in front of the masses, and doing a lot of things towards, being on stage. So then I moved to Miami. I got married, I moved to Miami, and I decided to start entertainment career. So I studied journalism for TV in University of Miami, and then I started doing TV commercials, doing novellas, series, and then all of a sudden I got pregnant, and I decided, you know what can I do? So I want to produce my own show. So I then produced my own show. So my economics degree helped me to do the budget and, hire the right person, and then developed from being a talent, now being a producer. And then I got the opportunity to work with Johnson & Johnson. So I did with the NBC Telemundo, a series of parenting tips. And I made my own series. They were called 9 Meses, and I distributed with MGM Learn America throughout 21 countries. And then I started to do another, video tips with Walmart. And, I was working with Despierta America, that is Univision. I don't know if you're familiar with Spanish networks in the United States. And I work with Telemundo, with SBS, that is Mega TV. Well, actually, Phil, the guy who works a lot with a net dropper.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay, he produced a show to SBS, Mega TV. And as well, I'm doing right now, I have a video tips, parenting tips for that are in Mexico, that are here in, national in United States with HITN. Sorry, because I am trying to translate between one and the other. But yes, I've been doing a production and very, very focused on content with meaning, because I believe that that's the future. People do not have time to waste. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna give you my undivided attention, but what are you gonna give to me? So then you want to get entertained, but as well as you can get some tips or some way to grow your, personal growth, that will be better. So that's the line that I've been producing, and I love to produce that type of content.
Yeah, right. There are actually a whole bunch of people that do what you do, where they used to be producers, screen actors, everything like that, and they're actually starting companies to help people learn how to be on camera and stuff. So I can introduce you to quite a few. I know a couple out in the UK, I know a couple in the US, so that could be pretty exciting. But it's great. People need to learn this stuff. The reason why is because you need to be able to sit in front of a camera and do things and talk to people. Like, when you're in a sales meeting, to establish that trust, you need to make eye contact. They need to see a person. Usually you would shake their hand and you'd sit down in front of them and you would have a conversation, right? But now it's not like that. So if you're trying to sell without your camera on, that's a serious problem, because pretty much all that trust goes out the window. That you're just a voice in a box behind a black screen. That doesn't mean anything to anybody. And that's part of the problem, is that voice behind the black box it's not safe. Mm-hmm. Or it doesn't feel safe to them. People don't get that understanding that they're speaking to an honest human being behind it. So that's really important. Outside of that, like video marketing, video emails with videos in them are 4.5 times as likely to get opened.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yeah,
because
they're 12 times as likely to get responded to. You could just say, hey, how's it going? I want to introduce myself. Boom, there it is. You could send it through Vidyard. You could send it through Vidyard through LinkedIn. You can send voice messages in LinkedIn now. Now you can put a voice behind the words that you're typing back and forth. This is connecting people more than they've ever been connected before, because they can actually see the person and understand the world that they live in. It's not just an email text behind a screen of somebody with the name of, Kenneth, who works at whatever company. You don't really know who they are. You don't even know what they're about. This is giving them humility, humanity, all of it. So, yeah.
Yes, and another thing that I was thinking the other day when I was giving the seminar is the people they want to be engaged, right? If they're not engaged, boom, out. Even though you have all these video and even though could be, the first generation YouTubers are not the same of the YouTubers today, if you see.
What do you mean by that? Because I don't even use YouTube unless it's like a how-to video.
And how-to video. Okay. At the beginning, people in the YouTube industry, when they began, they were like, hello, people. Well, I'm going to show you how to use your cell phone. Yes, you see his cell phone. And, they talk like that. They didn't have training. They didn't have any pre-production. They just opened turn on the camera and they did whatever.
Utilitarian.
Right?
Yeah. Utilitarian.
Utilitarian, exactly. So now you can see that there is a pre-production behind it. There is a production, and then it's a post-production that it's equal in the TV industry. So you don't turn on the camera and boom, hi, hello, Susy Rosado, and I'm going to talk today about this and that. No, I do a pre-production. I do like, what do I need to have with me? What I'm going to be talking? What are my talking points? I'm going to be concise. I'm going to be timing myself. And I'm, you do the pre-production, the production, and the post-production. So you put graphics, you put music, you put sound effects and that stuff. So you can see you just look for any YouTuber that they are right now, how they began, and you will see a huge difference in the quality of the image, quality of the sound, and even the quality of the delivery of the message. So saying that, right now, what I see the new trend is like, we're going to have even scripts. As in, like, you're in a live TV show in the morning that you have a script, okay, the voiceover, someone is going to be talking, there's going to be the B-roll. Meanwhile, we're talking about this, we're going to be showing the camera, the mics, and everything. It's going to be, high-end production eventually when the timing is coming. But for now, the most important thing is the engagement. So if you are not giving the right message to the right person, then you're going to be left out, right? Right now, there is a lot of, probability that the video can be seen because there's not a lot of people that are sending videos right now. But once everybody's sending videos, it's like another one, like the emails. So how can you, position yourself? It's like, okay, I know that the attention span of people right now is not the same as it used to be like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Right now, you're competing with everything, with every screen, with the people attention, with their mind, like someone that can be entering their office or whatever. You're competing with a lot of competitors. So you have to be, I said in Spanish, corto, directo y al grano. So you have to be short, direct, and to the point. You cannot be, wandering around. So that's another training that gets you to how to deliver your message. Not only how to talk to the camera, but how to deliver your message. It's really important here.
Right. I would totally agree. And that delivery needs to be powerful. It needs to grab attention, but it also needs to create a feeling of empathy, sympathy, or anything else. There needs to be an emotional reaction to whatever you're talking about. And that all has to do with who you're targeting. And with who you're targeting, it needs to be relevant, it needs to be timely, and it needs to be consistent. On top of that, it needs to have context. If it lacks context, then nobody's going to watch it because they'll say, what the hell is that? And ignore it because it's out of context. Think of anything outside of context. I mean, if you were to look at, let's say, let's pick a funny one. If you were to look at a tie, like a men's tie or a woman's tie, whatever, doesn't matter. If you were to take a man or a woman's tie and you were to place it in the middle of like a machine yard, just flat, just like as like the straight line that it would fold out to, that would confuse the shit out of you. You probably wouldn't even know it's a tie. You'd say, what the hell is that? And you'd have to walk up to it and probably pick it up and touch it before you even recognize what it was. But if that was on somebody's jacket when they were dressed up formally, you'd say, wow, what a beautiful tie. And you'd know that's a tie right away. There's no recognition to something that is outside of context, or it could become shocking. There's a different emotional response that you usually would not want. If that's what you're going for, fantastic. But if that's not what you're going for, then that's definitely not what you're going for. So, I mean, I would think that, advertising a video of some sort of new child's toy on a B2B software site for financial software, that's not gonna, what is it even doing there? It's out of context. People will not watch it. If anything, they're going to think that software company is some sort of scam, right?
True, totally true. Okay, the first thing you already said, building the trust in your audience. I think that's the first one, and it's really important. Once you have their trust, like, okay, grab it and don't let it go. And there are many distractions when you are doing a presentation. You're doing a Zoom, or you're doing now we're doing, what is it called right now? Google Chat?
Google Meet. Yeah, this is Google Meet.
This is Google Meet. So any platform that you're using, you have to be really conscious about who is your audience, first of all. If it's my audience, it's like, let's say, everybody is 35 to 45 years old and they are very interested in business, then I'm going to be talking, my delivery is going to be different. But let's say if my audience, it's like people like investors 60 years and older, then my delivery is going to be more proper, more, more stiff, it's different. So a very important question that you always have to ask yourself, who is my audience? And from there, you're going to be more like building the rapport.
It's the body language. People read body language, and it more so goes further than actual speaking. And that's why body language is so powerful. That's why keeping your camera off during a meeting, like I was saying before, they can't read your body language. They cannot see your eyes. They don't know what to trust. They don't even know what you're thinking or how you're feeling. Body language shows your intentions. It does. Like I'm doing right now. It shows my intentions. I'm being very sincere. I'm trying to put a point upon you, get like, an idea, right? For something, and delivering with my hands, that I'm delivering speech. So I'm delivering it with my hands. It's pretty interesting.
Right.
But I would like to ask you, since it's like, you're going to support proper for someone who are investors, they're in their 60s, and oh yeah, of course, no, business. Oh yes, good business. Yeah, like that type of thing. But yeah, nobody talks like that anymore, right? But
like
really,
now, put into the test the acting skills. So in acting skill, when you are portraying someone like 60 years old and older, that kind of people are very wise people, right? You cannot compare someone that is 20 years old versus 60 years old. 60 years old are very like kind of calculated moves. They're not like, hey, hello, yes, you were. No, it's like, hi, hello, how are you? How been doing? And their pace is more, it's slower.
It's slower, yeah. They have less to think about.
To the point, like oh my goodness, they talk so slow. But they are like quick thinkers, and when they talk, listen. So when you are talking to that kind of audience, you cannot be like, hi, hello, I'm going to talk about the new investment today. No, that's not, because it's like this person does not have any idea how to talk about investments, so you lose their trust. So but if you are talking about like, hello, today we're going to talk about the investments, I am young, I know, but I've been studying this for 20 years. And this is what I think about the investments. Then you grab their attention, you know?
Right. Right.
You are taking into consideration who is my audience.
You need to mirror your audience. What do they need to see to feel comfortable is what you need to deliver. I'd like to ask you, though, where I was going before, is that I'd like to ask you, how would you say to present yourself to millennials?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, there you go. That's the ticket.
It's a tough one. You know why? Because from, like, I'm not talking about your generation, but my generation, it was very simple. It's like he or she, and that's it. And now it's like he, she, them, it, and it's tons of another, pronouns that.
Yeah, he, she, they, them. Yeah.
What?
He, she, they, them.
Exactly. He, she, they, them. Okay. So yes, now you have more words into and that are not natural to you. So I think, first of all, the first thing, when you don't know that very well your audience, it's being vulnerable. I would start from there, like, and start trying to, hit your head all the time. It's like, I would like to talk to you, even though I probably may say something that, you have to correct me because I'm trying to learn this. And then you start your speech. But they're vulnerable if you really don't know the generation, the millennial generation. Millennials are very different from us. You have to be quick. You have to be multitasking. You have to be really relaxed. Something that I learned. I always, when you're an actor, you always develop the observation technique, and I am always observing people and like trying to go into the history of the person. And the other day, I was like, oh my goodness, how to distinguish between a millennial and someone from like 30 and up, and how can you distinguish, because all of them, they look almost the same, like all the creams and surgeries and whatever, they look like 20 years old. But how do you recognize them?
The nuances, the way they act, their little mannerisms, right?
Could be, but I'll give you an easy flats. Like the millennials, all the time, they are like they're very relaxed, and they are very they're in flats, and all the wardrobe go like flats. Like, okay, they are baggy, they are like flowerish, and they are flat. And when you see another generation, they are like fitted, they are with heels, and they are very well makeup. And I see that difference between to determine who is like, okay, my God, she's millennial. The generation like the 80s, more or less, they are all the time like with the makeup, as you can see me. Now I gave you my age, but I see that difference between the millennials and talking about women, millennials and the next generation, the XY generation, and that's a difference that you can see. So,
I do not understand that next generation. The kids that are coming up now, I mean, like snorting condoms was a fad. I mean, whatever happened to drugs? I mean, that's probably better for you than snorting a condom. Like, I don't understand what happened with that. I mean, it's totally off topic, but like, what? But
I don't get it. What are you talking about? The snoring?
No, like, you know how you do like cocaine, like you snort cocaine? They're doing that with condoms, and then like it would go through, they like, pull it out. Crazy. Oh. Literally crazy. I have no idea what they're doing these days.
That's what they do right now?
That's what they're doing right now. That was like a thing, and then like Tide Pods happened and everything. People were dying. Like, what the? Just smoke some weed, shit. Like, But no, off topic. The thing is, I'm a millennial, right? So I'm a millennial, except I probably break all those stereotypes because sure, I'm in a sweatshirt right now, but I actually dress pretty formally. I'm very fitted. I actually get my clothes. I get my clothes tailor made, fitted, and I'm pretty high strung, but also relaxed. So I think I got that. Is that I'm extremely high strung, like do this, really fast paced, but at the same time, 100% relaxed and calculated at the same time. So it's really interesting. It's like the calm and the chaos is kind of what it is. And the more, what I found from at least me knowing my type of generation is that the more honest and truthful, the more you put emotion and purpose into something and speak to someone in a really empathetic way where you can feel all of the words that you're saying and you can see that this person really cares.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want to have you understand who they are because they've been searching for so long. But the truth is behind that, that they need that type of attention, because even though they're connected to each other better than ever before, that connection is not made. They feel more alone than ever before. So it's feeling that sympathy and that empathy for these people who are so lonely. So I just did that in a way that I would speak to a millennial, right?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I got you on that one this time.
I know, yeah, because my like me, it's about like the technicalities about the camera and about the delivery, but not about the analyzing each generation that you are talking to. But yes, you give a really good point about how to talk to millennials.
It's the voice. The voice, the way your voice presents. There needs to be passion in it. If there's no passion in it, then why are you even living? That's the way they look at it.
Oh my goodness. Everything is about passion. Everything
is about just like, money used to be the Gen X, money was the incentive, right? Money.
Yeah, right.
Now with millennials, do you know what the incentive of millennials is?
How to save the world?
Just passion and purpose. Fixing what's broken, yes, so saving the world a little bit of a hero complex, but passion and purpose.
Passion and purpose. You know what? I read an article that it says that oil companies have a problem right now finding talent because the new generations do not want to work with oil companies.
They don't want to work with anything that has to do with fossil fuels.
Exactly. And they are finding it difficult to find talent. So yes, that's a great point to having in your mind when you're talking to this type of audience, and what do you want to sell to them? Because if your product is making a lot of contamination, pollution, and everything like that, you're out of your picture. Like that.
That's right. That's right. And that's why cigarettes are so down too, like so low on the totem pole now. People smoking has gone down exponentially. But yeah, like you're saying with fossil fuels, who wants that around? It's what's destroying the planet. So why would we continue to do that? We're trying to fix it. We are trying to fix what the baby boomers broke, because Gen X kind of slid by and they were like, yeah, you know what? This is the way that it is. Let's just keep it rolling. And then millennials are like, oh my God, holy shit. We got to fix this before until the world ends. Oh my God, we got to fix it now. We need to do things with purpose. We need to drive this thing back on track because it's derailing right now. And then Gen Z, the after millennial, I have no idea what's going on with that. It's from what I could see, it's just a mess of just nonsensical, just I don't even know. I have no idea. Okay. How about this? I want to know, what are some tricks that you could teach people of how to set up a camera, or how to actually look at the camera, or seem like you're looking at the camera, so that people can appear there? Because I know that a lot of people, when they're looking at a video, let's say we're having this conversation right now. If I'm looking at you, I'm looking away. Like right now, I'm looking directly at you. That's a problem because the camera can't see me. Now, what are some tips that you would give to people so that they can properly look at their camera and they're actually looking into the camera, but also still able to see the person's face? Because often in like sales or something like that, where it's that's a meeting, you need to be able to read their face, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, everything like that. How do you get around that little obstacle?
So first of all, you have to be conscious about, you have to be looking both. Why? It's like the first thing that I gave on the seminar is like, you have to remember, look at the camera. But you have to remember that you have to go back and forth. So, like what I explained is, when you are recording a show in a studio and you have 3 cameras and you are interviewing someone, it's like I have the person that I am interviewing here. And then when I am interviewing the person, I say, hello, what's your name? Could you tell us a little bit about you? And then I go back, yes, oh, how fascinating. So it's the technique of multi-camera. And it's like, okay, you have to talk to the person, but then you have to come back to the camera. And then always remember that the person is behind the lens. Now, it's like driving a shift car. And it's like, okay, no, I'm going to put you in another perspective. It's like when you are driving forward, but looking in the mirror to see, backwards, and then on the side mirrors. and you at the beginning is like, oh my God, what, it's very difficult to look at the mirror and then going forward and then looking backward. But then you do it automatically. So basically it's exactly the same. And another tip that I give to them, it's getting accustomed to this. But the other thing is just put a reminder as easy as this. Just put your note, your Post-it, make a smiley face and put it next to the camera. So the next time it's like you always have, it grabs your attention and you always go back to the happy face and smile to the camera. Now, why you have to go to the camera and then see the person? Because you have to see your feedback. You have to see like, oh my God, what is it that you like? What is, I saw that you make a face. What is it that, So you have to go back and forth from the camera to the person, to the camera to the person, and think about like if you have 50 people in the meeting, each person, it's going to be like another camera to you. So you can go back and see the person, and then you can go back. When you answer the question, you go back to the camera again. Okay, well, you were asking this, and that. And then you go again to the person, and then you go back to the camera. Always remembering, it's like going to, seeing forward when you are driving and then looking in the mirror backward, but like in a very, very fluent, like easy way.
Right, so, right. Automatic, calculated, and easy.
Very automatic. You can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I can see you here, and then I answer you to the camera. Then I see you here, and I go back to the camera. And then it goes automatically, like you don't think about it anymore, but you have to practice. So use this, use this sticker, find a smiley sticker, and then you put it next to the camera. And always you're going to grab your attention all the time, that remember that you have to look to the camera. So that's the first tip.
One thing that I was taught by, so it's a friend of mine. They are, they're now a producer. They were an actor. His name is Alex Jeffrey. He was doing some stuff for, I think, oh God, I can't even remember the name of the show. Not important, but he was filming out in Manhattan and everything like that. He taught me a trick, like, if you're using a camera, what you can do if you're really not used to it, or it really pains you to look at the cameras, because some people really fear cameras, and you're not alone, because a lot of other people do too. I have no idea why. All it is a little black dot. I mean, it's not a big deal. But
I'm going to tell you why.
Sure.
Okay. Because when you talk to people give you feedback. It's like you talk to me and I say, yes. And I make faces and expressions. But when you talk to the camera is like when I look at you like that. So talk to me, and I don't make a face. So you feel so uncomfortable when someone is not answering you back, or making a face, or like, yes, no, whatever. You feel weird.
You're searching for validation.
Exactly. So the camera is not going to give you any whatsoever feedback or validation or expression. So you have to get accustomed that doesn't matter. Here is my happy face, and that's it.
Right.
That's the reason why people feel awkward in front of the camera. So now what you're saying?
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, so yeah, definitely. But that's true. That's true. I can see all of that. That all makes sense. And people aren't used to no feedback. It's the search for validation. I was talking about this in the sales stuff that I talked about. All people want is to be validated. They want to be loved. They want to be validated. They want to be accepted. And they also want to be listened to. They want to be heard. But one of the things that I was taught is that you take a picture of your best friend, print it out on a piece of paper, make it maybe like 3 inches by 4 inches, maybe 2 inches by 3 inches, like kind of tiny. Then you cut out a hole in your friend, like on the nose or something. And then you paste the picture to the camera so that it's nice and flat against the camera. And then the camera isn't interrupted anywhere. So it's a hole large enough where the camera's not, nothing happens with it. It's the same as it was before. You can view everything properly. It's not like there's a donut hole or anything. Okay. Then you paste it on there, and then you're literally having a conversation with a friend of yours. And you can have it so they have a smile on your face. That way, so whenever you look at it, they're smiling. So you're like, oh, I'm doing great. It's you're searching that validation, and that validation is just sitting right in front of you the whole time. So you can be speaking to the camera that way. I'm not currently doing that because I got pretty good at looking at a camera. It doesn't bother me at all. But that's a good way to, I guess, for lack of a better term, pop the cherry. But on being able to look at a camera. And what she's saying is the exact same concept, except this is adding more of a human element to it. So when it comes to setting yourself up for lighting, When let's say you're in a really important business meeting, and you want to set that just right so that people can see all of your face, because there's nothing worse than having a dark, you can't have a dark half. You can't have it so half of your face is lit up, or it's so bright on your forehead that it's like glowing white, or anything along those lines. You don't want your hair, you don't want it so bright that you can see the frizzes, so you need to turn down the what do they call that? The yeah, you got to turn off the, what is the frequency or something? But yeah, you can use a phone light if you want to, but yeah, it's usually too bright, but a donut light works pretty well. And also these little brick lights that they have.
Correct. Yes. When the lighting is really nice. When you are talking to the camera, I'm going to turn it off. Okay. When you're talking to the camera and you're giving a presentation, you want zero distractions, like zero, nada. And the lighting, it's one key part, because when they cannot see your face completely, it's like trying to find what is missing here, and you don't want to distract them. The best thing is like the natural light, and if you're in front of a window, then it's a natural light. Now, for example, when you are having a presentation, let's say kind of like the sunset nighttime, then your light is going to be off, and then you're going to be staying just with the lighting of the regular room. So you always have to have your gear. And the easiest one is buying the ring. The ring, it's very easy to manage, and you can move it from place to place. So I think the ring is really, really good to have.
Like, I use this, for example. Like, if you look at this is one of the brick ones with the tripod. So then I can adjust everything in the back like that. But these are really good because it has all of the separate little tiny lights, which you can't really see in this because it's so bright. And then, I mean, you can like turn it up. So, this thing gets as bright as like freaking heaven's gates. But yeah, no, this is great. You could change how much yellow's in there if you want to make it more toward blue light. It depends on like the coloring of your room, the natural light that's around you and everything. So it's all adjustable. It doesn't get into, anything rather than just warmer or cooler. It doesn't go into like purple or red, but you can get filters for that, but you don't really want that. But right now I'm running it at a super low level where it is super warm because everything around me is pretty cool. So I need to balance it out without it being too much. Like I've got a lamp up here, I've got a window right here, and I've got that right here.
And you are really well lighted, and it looks really good. But yes, that for example, I change the light. I change the light here to more cold. This is more warm, and this is like kind of regular, and the intensity. And this is like $40, and it can make a totally different presentation. Like when people can see you well, they feel like connected. So
that's right. That's right. I mean, the one that I have, for example, so if anybody wants to get one, it's called a Litu photo. So it's LIT as in Tom, U, F as in Frank, O, T as in Tom, O. So Litu photo. And it's called an LED video light N126. And this thing will last you probably somewhere around, I think, 4 hours of video if it's on low, or 6 hours of video on low. If you have it turned all the way up, it'll last you like 2 hours, and it'll tell you the percentage of how much it has left on the bottom, on the back. You can flip it from being just warm light to soft light to bright blue light and everything like that. Change the intensity at any given time. It sits up tripod. You can put it on the top of your camera. It has an attachment for that, so you can have it as your flash. It's really awesome, really versatile, and I think it was like $45. They're not that expensive. And then like that circle light, you can't go wrong because it gives you that really nice look in the eye, how you get the circles in there, like you see in the models and all that stuff. And it makes you look very inviting. Like you look very inviting right now.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know about the circle. It looks like, very inviting, but yeah. And it's just about buying the right equipment. It could be like $200, but then you have like the greatest equipment and tools to be on your presentation. And what I was telling you, you want zero distractions. So the more you are captivating your audience, the better it's going to be the outcome that you're going to have. Let's say that you want to close a really big deal, but you cannot travel because the coronavirus, because the quarantine, or whatever. So then you just have to do this. And you want to make it greater and better than even in person. So you can do it, and you can have it with the right techniques, like talking to the camera, knowing your audience. Another thing, this is your distractions, your clothing, your background, your clothes. For example, when you are on TV, you cannot use patterns because that distracts, that makes noise.
It gets a moire pattern happens where it looks like it's like folding over itself and like glitching.
Exactly. And then you distract the people. In your background, if you have something that, for example, like I have like a tie here, and it's like, why she's having that tie, or why she's doing this? So you're distracting again. Or for example, like women. Okay, I am talking, and I have this, let's say this, and I am like, oh yeah, oh yes. And
All you can hear is the necklace. Oh my God, I can't stand that actually. Someone's talking and they're moving their hands and all you hear is yep.
it's like, okay, we don't need that. So, for example, there are a lot of tiny things that you have to take into consideration when you are talking to the camera. Another thing is you have everything you need when you are seated. You went to the bathroom, you did everything that you had to do, but it's not like, oh, I'm coming back. No, because then you lose the people. Before, people had the control remote, and it says, they just can change it like that, and then change your channel. Right now, they change the screen as simple as that. And today, we don't have like, let's say, 200 channels. Today, we have billions of channels. Like in YouTube, I don't know how many, Facebook, I don't know how many, Instagram, I don't know how many. So you have to be always engaged with your people, zero distractions, with your clothing, with the noise, with the background, and everything towards that.
Yeah, and it's like dark lighting in the background too. If you're in like a dark room and it's like a dark, dank lighting, and you don't have any lighting to try to compensate for that, and you're just getting lit by the computer screen, it makes you look evil because it's like, ha, 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 like that. I've been in meetings with, VPs. VPs all the way to C-suite where they're in like a dark, dank room and everything. And it's just, nothing looks right. It's kind of like, it's kind of like satanic looking in a sense where it's just like evil and dark and terrible. And you're just like, oh, you don't really want to do business with them. And when you talk to them, it feels so depressing. Like people can feel that. And that's something that we need to cater to because they can literally feel that.
Like
so
this.
You don't want to, like that, where you get the little flashlight, you hold it up in like a campfire, and you're trying to do a scary story, like that type of effect. You don't want that type of effect. Or if the light's like, half your face is darker, it looks like you have a black eye because there's so much light that's just falling and everything. That is how you present yourself. You know how you dress up when you go to meet somebody who's really important.
Yeah.
You walk into the building, you look like $1 million. That is what you want to reproduce on camera. Sure, you could be wearing your underwear right now. I wouldn't even know the difference.
No. I'm going to tell you something about that. For example, I was doing a series, and the acting coach, he couldn't get the actress to get to the emotions that she needed to portray. And it was kind of a classical old movie, whatever, and she needed to be like in 1920s. And then he asked something very weird, like, what is it that you're using as an underwear? And everybody was like, what? And like, yeah, explain to me. And it's like, well, I have like how do you call it in English? A thumb. Okay, I have a thumb. And everybody was like so awkward. What does have to do with this? And it's like, whatever you have, whatever you're using, it's how you can portray yourself. Like if you are aware of that and you use regular panties, then your delivery is going to be changed. And then we made a change, and it was totally different, the delivery. So it matters if you are on your underwears, even though you are okay, like, you have your business shirt and everything, but you're on your underwears and you are using flippers right now, it's like your delivery it's going to be totally different than if you are completely with a suit delivering a business presentation. I even use perfume because I feel great. I feel good. I feel like ready.
I do the same thing. I need to smell good. I do the same thing. It makes you feel better, but because you can smell yourself, you're like, wow, I smell good. And you're impressing yourself because really, why do people dress up? They dress up to impress themselves. They may have someone they want to impress, but usually you just dress to impress. And who are you impressing is that you're pretty much stroking your own ego. You know that you look good and you're peacocking. That's what's happening.
That, yes, but make that experiment, and people that are listening to this, make the experiment. One day, dress from the top to the bottom, like you're gonna dress to impress. And another day, do another presentation, and just your business shirt, and then the boxers, and then the flippers, and you will see the difference. And you see yourself. Do the experiment, because definitely it affects your delivery. It affects the way you manage yourself, your body language, the tone of your voice, the confidence. So if you want to be really confident, and that's what you need to be really confident to make a presentation in every time. But this moment, doing to any platform on a camera, it's like key.
Yeah, and it's the old rule of I don't even know what this quote's from, but it's like an old rule: is that if you look good, you feel good.
Yes, definitely.
That is a fact. If you look good, you feel good. You know, when you look really good and you know you look really good, and maybe you've even gotten a compliment about it, you're like, yeah, I'm good right now. I'm looking good. I'm feeling great. It ups your confidence, and your confidence is ultimately what sells you to anybody that you speak to. Is that if you're confident and if you know what you're talking about, you are confident with what you're doing, so you hold yourself confidently, you speak confidently. That is ultimately the biggest attractor.
Correct. Yeah. So definitely from bottom to top, everything has to be done.
That's right. And would you have any advice on how people can? I mean, women could do their makeup. I mean, women or men now, but makeup for camera where it's not looking like you're wearing a lot of makeup. You're not trying to appear like you have makeup on. It's just something to kind of like spruce it up so that it will look better with the lighting. I mean, that can be helpful to a lot of people who would be comfortable or would want to do something like that.
Well, for women, definitely you have to be yourself, because if then you're trying to be someone else, it backfire to you. Always try to be yourself. As well, when you know who is your audience, then it's gonna give you kind of a signal how to make up yourself, how to do the right thing. So, for example, I knew that I was talking to you. I was thinking actually, oh, this color of my lipstick, it will be good or not. And I was like, well, this is what I like. Period. That's it. So you have to do in between who is my audience and who you really are, because then it's like how you're gonna feel really confident.
Right. Yeah, being someone you're not never helps anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. The less genuine you are, the worse off you are. I mean, it's anything in business or just in the regular world, anywhere. That's it. I mean, disingenuine salespeople, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust you as far as I could throw you. The second you're disingenuine, you give me a reason not to trust you. I do not trust you anymore at all. So it's better to just be yourself, admit when you're wrong, know that you made a mistake, be aware of it. And if you do make a mistake, just brush it off like it didn't even happen. It was part of the plan, just roll with it. Just roll with it. Be fluid. Be like water. You just, you fall over something, you splash a little bit, but then you're going to form back into, your little puddle of whatever. And then that's it. You just let it flow. And if you don't let it flow and you get too uptight, try to control it, you're not going to have any control. So do you have anything to speak on about like control of conversation?
When you feel confident, when you feel, as you say, like you are well dressed, if you smell well, and you feel like ready, you build your trust. So you have to be in a good position that you feel good with yourself. Secondly, you need to have kind of a script or a bullet points. Where are your conversation going? So whenever the conversation is going, you know how to, take back to the point that you were talking. And another thing that it's like really important in acting, it's imaginatory. When you're talking and you are giving some message, you have to be able to make the image in your mind. So that way, when you see it in your mind, the people can see it in you and people can comprehend better. So that's the way you can become more engaging. For example, when it's very difficult when you are doing a TV commercial and they say, for example, when I was working with Johnson & Johnson, and you have to say, Johnson & Johnson, no more tears, lavender, sand, and the joyous kids. And it's like a sausage of words that do not come natural to you, but you have to sound it very natural. So you have to internalize. So when you internalize the message and you can see the pictures and then your delivery is going to be really good. And people is like, yes, of course, Johnson & Johnson, no more tears, lavender, whatever, because it comes natural. But you have to internalize, sorry for the commercial, but that was when I was working, I was telling them, it's like, you have to sound natural. People is not going to talk about, all these words all together. And I was talking to my generation back then. I was not talking to this new generation. This new generation just want to hear like the brand and the name of the shampoo, and that's it, no more, because you don't have time to say all of that. But my point here is internalize the message. If there is a word that you don't know, just look for it. And remember, what does that mean? For example, giving a business presentation. When I was teaching this guy in this seminar, he's from Ecuador, and he was working for, I think, natural vitamins or something, and he was having a trouble pronouncing the name of the company. And when he presented himself, hello, I am Ivan from Natural Vitamins Sunshine, it looks like the lack of confidence. And I said, go back and practice the pronunciation. Even though you don't know how to pronounce it, make it a way that you want to say it. You know, better
Right.
that you go back and you understand the pronunciation and learn the pronunciation. But for now, if you want to say Sunshine Products, say, hello, I am Ivan and I work for Sunshine Products, period, or Sunshine, or whatever you want to. But you have to be confident the way you deliver the name. If you don't know the name of something, if you don't know the meaning of something, go back, look for it. Because the more confident you are, the better your delivery, your message, and people engage with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to put it too, is that the more confident in what you're talking about, the more knowledgeable you are, the more comfortable you are talking about it. Where if you don't really know much about something, you're going to stutter all over the place. You're going to get lost in your own thought. You're going to try to think ahead of what you're speaking, and you're not going to know what's going on. And ultimately, it's going to be a disaster.
That's another thing. There was this coach, and she was talking about the self-love. Hello, I want to talk about self-love. Self-love is when you let people treat you well. And self-love, whatever and whatever, and self-love, whatever and whatever. And I was like, you were trying to figure out what was coming on, right? And like, yes, you were worried about what's next, the next line. Yes, I could tell it. You have to, if you want to say something kind of like, I don't know, like a political speech, then, that's that work. But if you are delivering that self-talk in Instagram, does not match, because Instagram people is not talking, hello, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to talk about self-love. No, you have to be taken into consideration what's a platform and who is my audience. And that will give you the best way of delivery and internalize your message. If you want to say something in a very tight message, like 30 seconds, then memorize it well. Go back to the camera. You didn't like it, fix it, go back to the camera until you do it natural, until it comes out. And once you memorize something or whatever you want to say, just let it go. Probably chances are that your message is going to come better and easier than what you planned before. So just learn it, memorize it, let it go.
Yep, that's a good way to do it. And yeah, it's never going to feel like it's going to come naturally until it does. That's kind of part of it. I did a lot of voiceover. So really, if you think about it this way, where the more you try to do it, the harder you try to do it, the less it's going to come out naturally, because it's not about trying. It's about the ease of delivery. And that's why memorizing it or understanding it at a whole nother level is why it comes out so fluid, where it's just, you're just talking about it. Just have a conversation. Pretend you're talking to somebody. That's it. If you go to just like, I'm doing this for camera, then you're gonna sound either super edgy or freaked out or nervous or overconfident, just way too powerful of a delivery, or you're gonna be, too quiet or guarded, and that's not what you want. It's just say it. Literally just say it. It's all good.
Yes, trust yourself. Trust that the message is gonna come much better than even you plan it, because you know what you're talking about. Just let it go.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just say it. That's it. Don't think about it. Don't think about saying it. Because do you think about what you say before you say it? I mean, outside of like you're trying to, respond to somebody or something, just the natural, it's going through. But are you thinking about, okay, I'm going to say this just like this, and it's going to come out like that for this result? You're not thinking that. That completely disregards natural human thinking. That's why it's unnatural, because you're not thinking naturally, and then you're thinking yourself into a circle. That's what you're doing. So yeah, it's crazy. But listen, we are pretty much out of time here. So I had a great conversation with you. This is going to be a lot of fun. I hope people watch the video of this, because it's going to make way more sense if they do.
Yes,
okay. I mean, we did kind of pretty much describe everything that we were talking about. But so Susie, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure. And definitely, I love this podcast. It's amazing. The way you're helping other people to be better in their business. It's amazing.
Yeah. So Susie and I are going to do a webinar to teach people how to speak and present themselves. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a kind of like a workshop style thing. So if you ever want to join us, we'll be doing that, and stay tuned for it, because we're not really certain on a date yet. We just know it's going to happen. So thank you everybody again. And hope you all have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you may be at this time, or whenever you may be at this time.
If you enjoyed this episode, follow Down the Rabbit Hole podcast for new episodes weekly on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pandora, and YouTube. If you'd like to apply to be featured on the podcast or recommend a featured guest, please feel free to email us at theteam@whiterabbitintel.com.